I want to tell you all a tale. It is the tale of Sven Tolle. Specifically, this is a tale of scambaiting, featuring our lovely protagonist, Sven Tolle. So let's get into it. At the time in which our story begins, I was graduating college. This, of course, means that my educational email is expected to be exterminated. Ergo, it had little value, and thus I could do some trolling. This all begun when a scammer sent a message to my college email, and it said, quote, "I have been trying to reach you. Where have you been? I have virtual information for you from Helena." And I have responded with, "I have not been active in this club since COVID," with my real name. Oops. So the scammer responded using the alias Helena Gotchling of the Royal Bank of Canada Human Resources Department and informed me that I am on the short list to be the benefactor of a 4-year-old $50 million estate. She also asked that once I get this estate, then we split it 50-50. In addition to $50 million just landing on my doorstep, there are other hints that this email might not be entirely legit. If I may point a few out. 1. The text says 50 million United States dollars, but the number is how we would write 50 billion United States dollars. And she has discharged her duty with equity. As you know, that's very different from discharging a duty with equality. She asks that I do not destroy her chance. If you will not work with me, let me know and let me move on with my life, but do not destroy me. I am a widow with kids, and this is an opportunity to provide them with new opportunities in a better life. There is a reward for this project, and it is a task well worth undertaking. Yeah, so this is a scam. Specifically an advanced fee scam, but we'll get to that later. As for now, I responded with, "I'm very dismayed with the loss of your husband. I would recommend taking leave off work so you can connect with your remaining kids. Family is important. There's a special bond between family. Perhaps that is why I was left this $50 million. Please send me the account number and access code after you finish your morning." In other words, goodbye and give me the money. I also changed my name to Sven Tolle, and I edited the previous email so that my tracks are hidden. So, after I executed such brilliant maneuvers as seen in the previous email, Helena sent me her own email about her 100% risk and hit-free transaction. In essence, she needs, for her lawyer, my name, my home address, my telephone number, my profile, my company, and a valid ID. Thank you very much for your quick response. You already know my name, Sven Tolle, and my email address. From that, you can already contact me. If you need to reach me by phone, please text. I have a habit of not picking up unknown numbers. I work as a game designer at Alternia Audio and Visuals, a video game company mostly known for the award-winning Doug of Guns series of games. It is an exciting time to be at the company. We have a new game releasing next October, and while I cannot say more about it due to internal secrecy, I would still keep my eyes peeled. What counts as a valid identification nowadays? I tried to use my NHS card the other day to buy some aquavit, but it was rejected. Can you provide me a list of valid IDs for me to use? Sven Tolle. I was asked for 6 different pieces of personal information, and I managed to get away with only providing 1. Okay, Sven, maybe a driving license or an international passport could do a lot better, just for proper documentation before we proceed to the bank for claims. I told her to take a look at the attachment on an email that doesn't have an attachment. To my great surprise, no attachment was found on my mail. Okay, so I guess I have to send something. My apologies, my email client has an unintuitive interface for adding attachments. I'm at the office and I do not have my driver's license with me, so I have attached one of my pay stubs. It includes my employee number. Perhaps you can use that to establish the bank account. Most of my salary is pegged to my employee ID number as it is. If not, let me know by the end of the day. This message was composed on a mobile device, and I attached temp 0, and that's what temp 0 is. About the pay stub, not only is the date impossible, but also I have a rotten salary, and coincidentally, my employee number is exactly the same as a Rick roll. Now, a pay stub isn't a real ID, and Sister Helena informed me of that. Yes, she's now a sister. Okay. One of my inspirations for this video series was Atomic Shrimp, who has made great videos about scam baiting, and they're always very funny and definitely worth a watch. His first scam baiting video was called Just Say OK to Scammers. Okay, that's good advice. Please send it when you have it ready, okay? So we can get this deal sealed. Okay, but this time it's attached. This is what I attached. It's a thing of beauty, isn't it? First, I got the picture from thispersondoesnotexist.com. It's AI generated. Secondly, the seal used over there is from the Articles of Confederation period, so no longer a valid seal. Third, the date of birth is 419, and 419 is a number in the Nigerian criminal code associated with advanced fee scams. Fourth, Sven Tolle was born in South Vietnam, after South Vietnam fell. Fifth, he lives in Dakota, the one Dakota. Sixth, both the issue date and the expiration date are on February 29th, despite neither of them being on a leap year. Seventh, this ID is already expired, even during the time of recording. And lastly, I stole the design for this government ID from a Trump flag, seen here during the storming of the Capitol. As you can imagine, I'm very proud of this fake ID, so here's another look at it. Unfortunately, I can't just send this lovely piece of artwork to my dear lass, Helena. For, according to the scam baiting toolbox, not every scam victim is from the West, and thus doesn't share our cultural milieu. Therefore, things that would mark something as obviously fake in our culture wouldn't necessarily do so for theirs, and thus they recommend against attaching a readable ID. Even if the ID number for that government ID is C3POR2D2T3M4HK47BB8. Drat. Well, I have to make do. So I just took a picture of what looks like a picture of my ID on a piece of paper or something, and made it low definition enough so that one can see that it's an official ID, but not much more than that. Helena, perhaps not knowing that I already attached my ID, sent me her ID, seen here. Of course, because this is a scammer we're talking about, the ID card has to be in Comic Sans. I also will note that her ID number is 007. Though all in all, I'm a bit disappointed because, as we've stated before, I put in quite a lot of effort in producing a fantastic ID card of my own. Back when I was scambaiting, I was a bit lazy. However, I later did some sleuthing, and I learned that Helena Gotchling is actually the Chief Human Resources Officer of the real Royal Bank of Canada. Or she used to. But because of this means that our scammer did their homework. Good job. A+. You're a winner. Congratulations.
Wat is het plan?
Unfortunately for our scammer, I did not do my homework. So this could just be the ID card of any old random lady. And plus, this is a scam. It's obviously not the real Helena Gotchling. Back to our email tete-a-tete. Even though I got her ID card, I still decided to waste time by pretending I did not. So Helena tried again, this time with more success. And so finally I can get around to contacting the bank, just as soon as Helena gets my ID. But I already sent her my ID, so I told her to take a look at external transaction details. Every email so far has that name, so have fun, Helena! Despite the difficulty I dumped on her, Helena found me trustworthy. She has recruited an attorney, she is making a formal request to the bank, and here is the application text you are to fill with your full name and address and send it to the bank email above. Royal Bank of Canada in Toronto, Ontario. I was so eager to get my 50 million United States dollars, write that in words too, that I sent the form to the bank without even taking the time to insert any of the information required for the form. I was so eager, in fact, that I was satiated with the petty sum of 50 million imaginary scammer dollars. I will do my best to correct such abnegation in the future and up it to the more agreeable sum of $500 million. Write it in words too. It's fake scammer money anyway, so I'm never gonna see a penny of it, so I might as well stroke my ego by anointing myself as a half-billionaire. I proudly reported to Helena that I sent the exact application. No changes, just copy-pasting. Despite the form lacking personal information or anything relating to me whatsoever, it was accepted by Miss Elizabeth Addison, our second scammer, who is posing as a second Royal Bank of Canada employee. Helena shook me out of my merriment, reminding me that for now is just application for the release of the inheritance funds with the bank. I am to keep her informed. Okay. Sven Tolle was still overjoyed at the prospect of inheriting a large sum of money, and in his mirth told Elizabeth to process the application quickly. Sven could use the 500 million United States dollars. I should have also edited the previous email to cover up my tracks, but hindsight is 2020. In order to process my application quickly, Elizabeth gave me a few requests. I am to send a copy of both the death certificate and the deposit slip by June 10th, 2022. Or perhaps it might just be October 6th, 2022. Unfortunately, I don't have a copy of the death certificate or the deposit slip. Helena has been acting as my guide through this bank account inheritance process, so I forwarded the request to her. I also added the Royal Bank of Canada into the email because I thought it was courteous that they also be kept in the loop. This confounded both scammers. Helena knows someone who can help us get the requested documents, but would like to know why they are needed. Elizabeth was confused about me asking her co-worker, so I told her that I have been indeed working with her co-worker. Great inter-office communication at the Royal Bank of Canada. As it looked like neither collogues hit reply all, I responded reminding the ringers of their respective relations. I also CC'd them back together onto the same emails in case these two co-workers decided to, co-work. Lastly, now was as good a time as ever to upgrade all previous mentions of the 50 million United States dollars to 500 million United States dollars. If all records tell the same tale, then the lie passes into history and becomes truth. Whatever is true now is true from everlasting to everlasting. It's quite simple. All that was needed was an unending series of victories over my emails. Reality control, I call it. Back to office politics at the Royal Bank of Canada. I have told Elizabeth that I am in cahoots with Helena, and Helena knows that I told Elizabeth that I was in cahoots with her. What is the response? Bam! No, what are you doing? Why do you have to mention my name to my bank? This is not good for me. I could get fired for this silly mistake of yours. They don't have to know I am behind all of this, and I might get arrested for it. Please never again will you do this. Always keep your mouth shut at all time. Any more mistake will get us arrested. We just have to keep praying. I know will we get the final approval.
What the Sigma?
Criminality aside, what else is in this email? Hoo boy. She had contacted her lawyer immediately she got my mail that we help us prepare the document the bank requested. The lawyer asked for money. Helena suggested selling her own jewelry because, as a chief human resources officer name-checked by Bloomberg, she has no money. She then requests 25 million of the 500 million total. This would be a very fine deal if any of the money actually existed. There's a second request to keep mum, as is common in legitimate emails. Here's some information about the dead relative I didn't know about. Anthony Selbach, who was born in Belgium, died in France in 2004. Lastly, Anthony Selbach got his my funds through a combination of real estate, buying and selling shares, and good old-fashioned gambling. Oh, and in case I missed the first two, there was yet another warning about talking to other people. I responded with the obvious. This seems kind of fishy. I thought you were lawful representatives of the bank. This did not seem 100% risk and hit free because someone might get arrested. Also, the email was about Anthony Selbach, not Anthony Tolle. Did they goof up and send me a random person? Helena 100% ignored my concerns about engaging in a criminal enterprise. She instead reiterated that the lawyer's asking for a fee. At least she did address my concern with the Selbach-Tolle discrepancy. Selbach was the middle name. Or, at least, according to her. I responded with, okie dokie, 'cause what else could I do? And that concludes part 1 of the Tolle trolling trilogy. Again, this does not seem above board, even by advanced fee scam standards. I very much hope you enjoyed part 1. If you did, be sure to subscribe so you do not miss part 2, where we meet our third, and final scammer. Until then, I'm IckyMan3, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.